Hello, students. This is Mr. Lue, and I'm sorry that I cannot be there with you. But one of the things that I wanted to cover before school was out for this year is to teach you how to create a budget. One of the important life lessons that we all must learn is how to manage our money or how to manage our resources. And we have you working on a stock market simulation game, and that begins with $100,000. And the objective for the stock market simulation is to grow that investment and see how much you can build your portfolio to increase your retirement funds or your investments. In this example, I'm going to teach you how to put together a budget. I would like you to do this. Now, here's the interesting thing. As you know, all the graded assignments are completed as I need to complete my grade book by Thursday. And this assignment is all voluntary, and I hope that you would take the challenge on building your own budget. So let's begin by listing a few typical budget items. I'm going to zoom in on this area here. And let's begin with maybe your largest expense to maybe your smaller expenses. So we begin with something such as your house payment. Okay. Now the house payment is something that can vary, but I would say in our area for a typical 2-bedroom, if you want to rent or buy, I would say on average you're going to spend about $2,000 a month. So I'm going to go ahead and type in 2,000. Next, let's consider other expenses. I would say your next largest expense is probably insurance. Now, this could include your health insurance, your home insurance, your car insurance, there are many different types of insurance. And so I'm just going to label this as insurance. And I'm going to say that on a monthly basis, you should plan on at least $500 a month just for insurance. Next, let's consider a car payment. And that car payment, even if you have an older car, might be somewhere around $250 per month. Okay? Newer cars, more expensive cars, of course, would cost you much more. Next, I think you have to consider things such as your groceries. And even if we go conservative and say that you only want to spend $100 a week, which is not much, but if you were able to spend $100 a week, then you're saying $400 for the month. Next, let's take a look at gasoline for the car. And depending on how long your commute is, or how many miles per week that you need to drive, I would suggest that you need to put aside at least $30 a week. Okay? And so over the month period, maybe that's $120 per month. All right? Next, let's consider the utilities. Now, our utilities can include everything from your electric, your gas, your water, your sewage, your garbage bill. There's a lot of things I would lump under utilities. And let's say you have a smaller home or smaller apartment, you're still going to be paying, I would say you're going to be paying at least $130 a month just for utilities. Now that could include your cable, your internet, and actually if you get some of the more expensive streaming services, that of course can go up much more. Next, I would say you have to look at entertainment expenses, okay? Now, entertainment expenses could include going to the movies, going out to eat. It could include just having fun. And that would maybe cost you $100 a month on a simple budget. Outside of that, let's say we've got our house payment, we've got insurance, car payment, groceries, gasoline for the car, utilities, entertainment. Now, I know I'm forgetting something more, but let's just lump that under a category called other. And we do often have expenses that pop up that we don't necessarily plan for, such as you need new tires for your car, or you need a new refrigerator, or the washing machine breaks down. So let's just call this 100. It's not much, but it acknowledges that there are other expenses. Now finally, let's create a total. And so with this, in our spreadsheet, this is Microsoft Excel. We should simply click on the Auto Sum tool on our ribbon here. And if we double click, we should auto sum that entire category. And sure enough, it did that for us at $3,600 per month. Now, that seems like an awful lot of money, but I suspect that in many of your households, the monthly expenses might far exceed that total amount. Now, if it's not that much, I understand. I would guess that we're looking at budgets in our community from maybe on the low end about $2,000 a month to maybe $7,000 a month. Okay? And that seems like a lot of money, but if you take $7,000 and you multiply that by 12, that gives you 70 and 14, $84,000 a year. Now, $84,000 a year is probably a fairly common household income. It could be a combined income, but per household, that would not be terribly unusual. Of course, far more than what a teacher makes. Nevertheless, let's consider that we're making about $7,000 a month. And here we have about $3,600 in expenses. Now, of course, the $7,000 that you may make per month is your gross income. In other words, that's before taxes, that's before any kind of, that's your income taxes such as your Social Security, your Medicare taxes, the unemployment taxes, the variety of taxes that you must pay. With all that taken care of, you might actually have a take-home, a net income of maybe $4,500 per month. So that would give us a little bit of cushion. Of course, there's savings and your investments, and much more, of course. So with that, let's go ahead and build a chart to visually display our monthly budget. What we do is we select the range of our data and we click on a charting tool. So up on the ribbon, we would want to look for our charting tool. Now, if you happen to be using Google Sheets, you would find similar tools. Here, we're just going to look at the insert tool, and we want to insert a recommended chart. So we'll click on that button, and we can see a variety of charts. And I like the pie chart, so let's choose the pie chart. And choose OK. Now with that chart automatically created for us, we can reduce the size of that chart. Okay. And maybe move that off to the side so we can see this a little bit better and zoom out. Okay. And make our chart even larger. This is known as a pie chart. And as you can see, it looks like a pie. And we can just rename the chart to something such as budget. And we can right-click on the chart and put some labels on this chart. And we can do that by either selecting other options from the selection at the top, which are chart styles, or we can right-click on the chart and we can do something similar. But let's just go with this chart option here. Select that. And then when you're done, you just choose File, Save As, and we're going to call this Budget. And choose Save. Now with your budget saved, if you would like to earn a few extra points, just email Mr. Lue at keith.lue@csddocs.org, and I would be glad to add some extra credit to your grade. I hope you found this interesting, useful, helpful, practical, and relevant. I miss you. I wish I could be there with you to help you personally as we finish the semester at Jordan High School.